Come on board. Join us for our Dreamboat Stories series, hosted by Captain George LaBonte, where we tell the stories of boaters just like you who have turned their wildest boating dreams into reality.
When Category 4 storm Hurricane Ian rolled through the West Coast, it left a path of marine destruction in its wake. Now, this created an opportunity for the guy that we're going to visit with today. Bobby Sarazan found himself in a position to go salvage a boat as a favor, maybe, to somebody that was upside down in its slip, and this created an opportunity for him that was going to change his life.
How I got this boat was after Hurricane Ian, a gentleman reached out to me and said he needed to get rid of the boat and it was capsized and wanted to know if I can come get it. So I was like, sure, I can come take a look at it. I took a pier from the dock, and once I took a pier from the dock, literally all I saw was the bottom of the hull, and literally just the prop sticking out of the water with this keg is all I saw. I didn't know a make, I didn't know a model, I just saw a boat. And I was like, okay, we'll flip it over, just trying to help somebody out after Hurricane Ian. And the guy was very fortunate that we flipped the boat over, but he had no more use for the boat, so I took over the boat from him. Once I flipped the boat over, got home, I was like, well, let's see if I can get the motor running first. Put a new starter on there, pickled the cylinder, changed the oil, and put the external fuel tank. And once I put the external fuel tank on there, literally it fired right up and ran like it never missed a beat. Yeah, they thought I was an idiot to take a capsized motor and flip it over and actually make it run and still use it to this day. So it's the same motor that's on the boat now. Once the boat was at my house and once I realized the motor was actually working and could be a usable motor, then I was like, okay, well, I started digging into it. I pulled the console off. Once I did that, I looked in there and the foam all inside was all soaking wet, had a lot of water in there. So I was like, well, I might as well pull the cap off. So yeah, I had to put the hull all the way on the ground with some foam blocks and then slowly put some ratchet straps on the original cleats and pull up on some posts I had on the ground. Start pulling, and then I realized the boat wasn't gonna separate. So I put the drain plugs in and I just started filling the boat with water. I'm like, it's already wet, why not just fill some water in there? And then I just used ratchet straps to pull the boat all the way off with the cap, and then the hole just sat on the bottom, and I was like, okay, this is step one, here we go. The foam was definitely stuck in there, so I had to cut out sections of it, very waterlogged. The sides of it were all sprayed. So I had to go through there with a little oscillating tool and literally cut it out scrape by scrape by scrape and cut out every piece of foam that's in there all the way back down. The boat has no wood in it. All the stringers are all fiberglass. So fortunate enough to have that. I don't have to replace any of that. And then decided, well, I might as well get a new tank. And I was like, well, I might as well just do everything brand new at this point since I'm here. I painted this thing just outside, and some may think it's crazy, but I painted it outside. The wind was in my favor that day. Any imperfections I had before, I sanded all down, fairing compound, primered the whole boat, make sure I sanded that down, and then I, shot the paint on top of that. So it's single stage urethane paint, it's automotive paint, one shot. You don't have to do base coat, clear coat, you just shoot one shot. It's a nascent paint, so I mean, it turns out really well as long as you wax it like you do your car and wash it. I mean, it'll stay good forever. So powder coating at home, once I acid washed everything, of course I had to do a lot of research on it. Just painting all this stuff with the acid, cleaning it up. Once I cleaned it all, let it dry, and I'd pre-bake it in the oven to get it really dry, pull it out, scuff everything up, shoot the powder coat in my shop, and then I bought a small powder coating oven, and I just put piece by piece in there, a couple pieces in there, custom made some little racks and some wires in there, and just started powder coating. Never powder coated anything before in my life, but I'm like, well, I'm gonna powder coat. First couple pieces turned out well. I got a piece right here next to me is the cleat. That's the first thing I ever powder coated, and it's still here. It looks really good. So I was kind of happy. I was like, all right, this is not gonna be that bad. There were definitely some pieces that were challenges. All the screw heads that are powder coated, all the fittings for the rub rail, all that stuff's powder coated, the finishing washers, so you had to acid wash all them. And if I couldn't powder coat it, was plastic or something could be powder coated, then I got it all prepped and ready, and I painted it the same color as the boat. The Suzuki, I got to looking at it and I was like, well, I can do a gloss, the rest of the boat's gloss. I was trying to just differentiate a little bit. And then I happened to be at a boat show and I looked at a matte black Suzuki on a little bay boat, a little skiff, and I was like, all right. Took the whole cowl apart, took everything apart, sanded everything down, and then just painted it matte black.
Now at the point Bobby had completed a bunch of the structural stuff and the cosmetic things on the boat that he wanted to do, he was struck with an idea of adding something very unique for a boat, He likes to do a lot of sandbar cruising and hanging out on the weekends with friends. And at the Sandbar, he thought it would be a great idea to add a boat drinks on tap system into the boat, which turned out to be definitely a conversation piece and something that everybody wants to come and take a look at when you're at the Sandbar. Now, having adult cocktails on the boat, I mean, obviously, people go to the Sandbar with that in mind a lot of times, and we certainly don't promote anybody getting overserved on a boat, and neither does Bobby. So if you're doing drinking and boating at the same time, we obviously urge you to do so responsibly, and he feels the same way. But at the same time, this was a very cool addition to the boat, and it definitely turns heads.
So years ago on the other boat I had before this one, I used to come out here to Lover's Key where I'm at. There was lots of trash. People put trash out here on the beach. You come with garbage cans and glass and so on and so forth. So once I come out here, I was like, man, there's gotta be a way to put a beer tap on here, because then all you have is a cup. I was like, how many taps can I put on here? So there's one on each side of the console, one off the back of the transom. So you can easily walk up to the back of the boat, get your drink. Right around the corner is a remote for a radio. You can change the song, the volume, you never have to climb in and out of the boat, keep your phone on you. So on this boat, there are 3 2.5 gallon kegs, under pressure CO2, supply all the taps. So you can get creative. If you like a Jack and Coke on your boat, you can put a Jack and Coke in there. Whatever you want on your boat that may drink, you can just put water on there if you like. So once the keg floats inside of the beer cooler, then once it floats up, it comes off on a micro switch, sends an alarm, it lets us know, it flashes up on the dash that, hey, low beer alarm is here. So it's like, okay, we've been either drinking too much or we partied too much, we either need a refill or move to another keg. So that's where it comes from there. And then also inside of the keg box, there's a temp sensor. It's a NEMA sensor. It's made for your bait live well. So now I know inside there, once you put ice in there, it tells you how cold your kegs are. The sidebar system, a friend actually has it in their outside bar, and it has the spout on there. So I got to looking them up, I'm like, this is very interesting. I was like, well, I'm gonna integrate one on this boat. So I contacted them, make sure it was capable of working on the boat, and I was like, all right, I can do this. And I got a wall mount system, that way I can just come right out of the spout. So you can put five liquors or drinks. If you got kids, you want to put your apple juice in there, whatever you want. You can put whatever you want on tap, as long as it's not a carbonated beverage. You can put it on tap. So your kids want apple juice and orange juice all day, you can put it on tap.
Now the custom features on Bobby's boat didn't end with the tap system. He added a lot of really nice aesthetic touches to the boat, which, I mean, if you look at the boat, you think of this black pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of look, just because of the black colors and a lot of woodwork and stuff like that. And as it happened, Bobby is really handy with wood. He's got a shop in his house and he likes working with wood. So he added a lot of custom features like wooden cleats and wooden steering wheel and stuff that he made all himself. I mean, he did all this work himself. And all these touches lent to the overall kind of unique look of the boat. Really took the thing to the next level.
So the rub rail, I just wanted to be different. I know a couple of stores online sell a rub rail. They're quite expensive and I didn't mind buying that, but I was like, what can I do to be different? And then I was on a vacation. I actually saw a tugboat with a big rope on the side. I'm like, why can't I just put that on my boat? So I did some research and found out the size that I wanted. I got some samples, held it up next to the side. I'm like, yep, this is gonna work for me. But it's really cool and it's definitely an eye catcher when I pull up somewhere. You've never ever seen a rope rub rail on a little bay boat for the most part. So it's something different than anybody else never have a rubber rub rail. The steering wheel on here is, just a pirate ship type steering wheel. So I had one in my shop for making another project I had for somebody's wedding gift. And I had the pieces, I was like, I can make this. So that's why I made the outer part of it has the screws in there and those pieces coming from the center were from that wheel, and I just made the outside and I had to cut those down because the wheel that was on it was 18-inch, was way too big. So I had to cut it down to this, which is like 15-ish or so. And I had to make it fit because it was just too big and there's no set. I'm gonna order a pirate ship steering wheel for my boat size. Definitely different. It has a suicide knob on there, so you can just turn it like a normal boat. Nothing's different in there, all hydraulic steering, so it doesn't make any difference. So on the dash is the New Wire Marine, made the switch panel on here, which includes the low beer alarm that I have. Inside the console is all the neat wiring. Every wire is labeled, stripped, dipped in dielectric grease, heat shrink. Everything inside there is all made the best of my ability that I could make. On the boat's equipped with some JL audio, 4 JL M6 6.5s, 4 JL 8.8 M6s, all run off a JL 800 and a JL 600. Definitely takes some batteries to run this system and it is extremely loud. So if you want to make a presence when you show up to the beach somewhere, I definitely suggest JL Marine for sure, hands down. This boat is definitely about giving. It'll give you a drink, it'll give you some sound, it'll give you a party. I'm like, well, lots of friends out here like to jam too, and when they jam out, you know, sometimes you got a bad day and your battery goes dead. So I incorporated on the side of the console, it's just a little port, you open it up and it's got the 2 jump terminals straight from your battery. You don't have to go chase your battery down, connect to those, and you can jump right to the boat next door and jump off a boat and help your neighbor out. A day in the life is simple. Like, I plan the night before, I mix the kegs up, I get whatever I'm putting on tap that day, I put it in a boat, I start it on ice the night before, it gets nice and cold. As soon as people recognize the black boat, it's pulled up, everybody's like, what is up with that boat? It's all black. We gotta go see this boat. And then once they come see it and they start seeing the little feature, little feature, little feature, and then they recognize there's a beer tap on the boat, they're like, how do I get that? So I just give some cups away and people wanna come up and have some drinks. Like, come on in, I enjoy it. Like, people come to the boat, it definitely makes the thousands of hours of building the boat for sure pay off when people come up and appreciate what you do, and they can get a tap off your boat and just enjoy a good drink while they stand next to your boat. I love it. It's great payment.
So it's been really fun taking a look at Bobby's boat here, and actually this project just reminds me of how much fun we've had covering these dream boats over the years. And this boat was no exception. You know, it's a really big undertaking to do a project like this, and we're happy to bring them to you. If you want to see more of this type of content, make sure you like and subscribe to Mission Boating, and we're going to keep bringing you the hits. Thanks for joining me. I'm George LaBonte from Mission Boating.
Mission Boating, the ultimate marine resource.